All right, how are you today? Today I'm going to have a bit of a rant, and I will do my best to keep it on the side of chill. But it's going to lead into a much broader topic of symbolism and the subconscious mind. So, let's get into it. So I had gotten into a bit of an online disagreement of sorts. And you can call it a debate, you can call it an argument if you want. I usually don't get involved in these because I know it's a complete waste of time. It's not like I think I'm going to change the other person's mind or anything. People are so entrenched in their ideas, however wrong they may be, that it's really not going to matter. And I typically don't have the time for it anyway. But I am ahead of schedule, and I saw this meme, and I just couldn't resist. I know, I had a moment of weakness. But on the flip side, if you don't want me commenting on your post and pointing out just how stupid your memes are, don't send me a friend request. If you only want the business side of me, just the magic side of me, go ahead and like my page, Mind and Magic. I won't call you a fool over there. But if you friend request Frater Xavier personally, I may. The page and my personal account are separate. Okay, so that's the first thing. If you don't send me a friend request, I won't be able to see your post and therefore won't be able to call you out on the error of your ways. Which I don't normally do, but I'm letting you know you're rolling the dice. Like this guy. Go f*** yourself, evil man. There is plenty wrong with this system. Are you blind or just a creep? Now, he lost the disagreement in this moment, choosing to attack because he really didn't have a response. But more than that, understand that I don't even know who this guy is. I didn't send him a request. He sought me out. Much like somebody who goes to an employer looking for a job and is hired and then complains all day about their job and how they hate their job and how they're not treated fairly. The employer didn't come to you. You went to them. You begged them for a position. That's what an application is. And that's where this guy started steering his argument. It was into that territory. I guess I expect too much for people to be civilized anymore. But look, if you don't value what I have to say, why did you come to me in the first place? Okay, so what does any of this have to do with symbolism, Frater? You said you were going to talk about symbolism. Don't worry, I will bring it around. Well, I got thinking about symbolism because of the disagreement that we were having. And it started with this meme that he posted. Again, I usually pass these by, but this time I just couldn't help it. And I put the word steal after the words helping this guy and see if it still sounds right to you. To which he replies, yes, steal is what Jeff Bezos' class has done to all of us. Stealing back fixes the imbalance.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the f*** are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!
And so I asked him simply, how has Bezos stolen from you? Did he steal your credit card? Does he place orders on Amazon against your will? Please explain this so I can understand. Maybe he's just provided a service that makes it easy for things to be delivered right to your door. I'm willing to bet Bezos hasn't stolen a dime for you nor anyone else. But according to your meme, you sure as hell would steal from him. And of course he didn't have an answer. He couldn't answer how Bezos stole from him. So he started blaming the system. He went off on a tangent on kids in cages, police killings, medical debt, a whole bunch of things that had nothing to do with the question.
They never address how women argue, which I think is the core of a lot of that shit. You know, and I gotta tell you something, man, like I never knew how women argued, but after 20 years of losing every significant battle in a relationship, I finally figured out how they argued. I'm gonna tell you something, I'm starting to turn this franchise around. I have begun a winning tradition. This is how they argue, as far as I can tell. All right, if they're right, they argue the point. And they stay on point and make sure you stay on point until you're down on your knees, apologizing, begging for forgiveness. All right? No problem with that, totally respect it. But here's the thing, if they're wrong, they go rogue. They go off-road.
And I told him there's nothing wrong with the system. It rewards those who produce and punishes those who slack off. Being rich doesn't mean that they stole it. Having more than someone else doesn't mean that they stole it from you. It just means that they're providing a valuable service to more people than you. And if people put half the energy they do into building something, rather than complaining about what a victim they are, they wouldn't have any monetary problems. And he didn't have a legitimate response to that, so he melted down and just started attacking at that point. To my amusement, because it was predictable. I mean, you could say I was trolling the guy, but I did legitimately want to help him. But, as I've said before, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. The thing you need to understand about symbolism is the universe is built upon it. And if you fully understand this, it is the key to everything. As above, so below, as within, so without. We've talked many times about how symbolism is the language of the subconscious. The reason that it's the language of the subconscious is because the universe is symbolic. The reality in which you live is a symbolic manifestation of what you have going on internally. But it's only a small part of it because it's a shared reality. Other people are manifesting things into it too. It truly is a symbolic universe. So I bring up this disagreement because this is one of those guys who wants to change the world and everyone in it because he wants to change the entire system. But he's not willing nor able to change himself first, which is much easier to do with symbolism. All magic is based upon symbolism because the language of the subconscious is symbolism. This reality is symbolic. All you need to do is change the symbolism. Change your mind, you change your life. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. In fact, I've said it so much that I can't even imagine somebody would add me on Facebook who hasn't heard me say it. Why do you want to fight the power when you could just become powerful? Why would you want to replace a productive system with another by people who haven't produced or accomplished anything? That's just like taking financial advice from a bum. Your whole ideal economic system is based upon the ideas of this guy. Do you not understand how powerful thought is? If you base everything off the ideas from this guy, the entire country ends up like this guy. Because that's what he's going to manifest through his thoughts, through symbolism, through his subconscious, through his set points. Look, I understand people's frustration, but also understand my frustration when you know and try to share the solution with people and they slap your hand back and say, no, there's nothing wrong with me. It's the rest of the world that has the problem. As a magician, we make changes to our world by making changes to ourselves. As above, so below. As within, so without. As within, so without. Say it with me. As within, so without. As within your mind, so without it shall be in the world. If you believe that you're a victim, you'll never be anything more. If you see the glass as half empty, the glass will be half empty. It's going to be half full for somebody else, but for you it's going to be half empty. Now, I'm always working on something, but a lot of the work that I do isn't spending any more energy than this guy posting memes on Facebook all day. I got to sit my butt down in front of a computer and type on a keyboard longer than I care to admit. Yet I'm getting paid for it and he's not. At one point he said I wasn't intelligent enough to understand the complexities of the system.
Just stop. Just stop it. Stop. No. Just stop it.
Oh, well, then I guess I'm a dumbass. But why does this dumbass make more than you? It's not because I'm smarter than you. And I'm not being sarcastic here. I'm probably not. There's a difference between wisdom and intelligence. See, I understand this because I used to be like him. Broke, unhappy, mad at the system, going to protests. This guy's me like 30 years ago. 20-year-old me didn't have a clue. And I wish I had. If I had found magic then, I would have turned my life around a lot sooner. If I have any regrets, that would be it. The thing is, it's just easier to blame others than to take personal responsibility for yourself. And these politicians, they know this. They're not stupid. They sell you a bill of goods knowing it's going to sound good to you, making you think they're actually going to do something for you. But it's just going to give them more power, more control, and screw you over in the long run because they know that you don't pay attention to cause and effect. I was in the grocery store the other week, and I'm looking at something on the shelf, and I hear this beeping behind me. I turn around. It's a frickin' robot behind me, and it's beeping at me because I'm in its way. So they got the robots taking inventory on the shelves now. Things are starting to become more automated. And I remember, oh yeah, the state raised the minimum wage a few years ago. And they passed it so that every year it goes up. And now I'm starting to see less workers and more robots. The point is, they keep promising you that it's going to get better, and it doesn't get any better. If you truly want things to get better, then you have to make them better. You take the control and the responsibility while using symbolism and the subconscious mind to do all the heavy lifting for you. See, people don't do anything because they think it's going to be too hard, or they don't know how. But in the age of information, where anything you could ever want to know is at your fingertips, which is starting to go away, by the way, use it while you can. And you can get the subconscious to do all the heavy work for you. There really isn't any excuse anymore. So when I see people insist that they can't do something, I'm like, well, if you think that way, you're right. But for the love of God, at least stop crying about it. Nowadays, if something's wrong, I got to do something about it. I'm proactive. If it's something that I cannot remedy by myself, then I'll break out the magic. Now, I know that people have been in a tough spot because of the economy and the lockdowns and all that. That only makes it more important to know this stuff. It makes it that much more vital. I want people to be able to use all of this to their benefit. So I'm going to be giving 15% off the Secrets of Wealth program, which includes everything that I have done personally to go from barely scraping by to over 6 figures a year. And I'll put a link with the discount already applied right up here. This offer code is only good for this video. I will not post it anywhere else. So I want to thank you for joining me on this extensive rant. It just really irks me when people cannot do for themselves. People want to change the world, but they can't change themselves. But if they change themselves, then they would change their world. They get everything upside down and backwards. Again, I don't normally go back and forth with people online like this. In fact, I think the last time that I did, it was with a well-known magician who really should know better than to buy into all that stuff. I mean, what are you doing? If you really believe that people can't do anything about their circumstances, then why am I paying for your course? And I believe out of that disagreement was born the Secrets of Wealth program. I made it for people like this so they could do something about it and stop complaining. And here we are once again. It don't take much. It's all symbolism, which is the language of the subconscious. You get it into the subconscious mind, and it will make the necessary adjustments to this symbolic reality. It's really not that difficult. Now, I don't like delving into the political because it is polarizing. And who among us understands polarity better than I do? I mean, I talk about it all the time, do I not? People will genuinely get upset with me. I have people on the left accuse me of being on the right, and I have people on the right accuse me of being on the left. Well, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. That's where I'm at. I'm in the middle. Which is why I look like I'm on the other side to either side. But you have to understand that my positions are based upon being a Western ceremonial magician who wholeheartedly believes in the Hermetic principles. I don't just pick and choose which Hermetic principles are convenient for me. No, I trust and believe in them all. And if you believe in the law of polarity and truly understand it, then you would know that without polarity, there can be no movement. Life could not exist. The electrical signals flowing through your body would cease. Well, it's the same for the economy. You have to have polarity in the economy for the money to move, for it to flow, for you to have an active economy. There has to be rich and there has to be poor. Otherwise, there's no movement. There's no incentive. There's no motivation. There's no drive. Nothing flows. The guy I was having a disagreement with actually said that, well, governments can just print money. So then they could just print all the money they want. And they should just give everybody money, and then everybody will be wealthy.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer. This is so much cancer that I can feel the tumors growing on my back. And it's way down heavy on me, and it's not okay.
Well, that's not how the monetary system works. He didn't take into account supply and demand and inflation. And that's what some of these guys actually believe. Governments can just print all the money they want, and then everybody can have infinite money. Yeah, look at what happened to the Weimar Republic. Ask Venezuela how that worked out for them. And this is why socialism always leads to hyperinflation and economic collapse. So let's just say all the money was printed and you gave everybody $1 million. And everybody's rich now. Everybody has $1 million. Now nobody wants to work. The path of least resistance is laziness, and that's what most people would default to. So even though you have all this money, everybody stops producing everything. And now you have nothing to buy with the money. That's why you'll start to see store shelves clear out and nothing being stocked. Movement starts to cease. The economy starts grinding to a halt. If everybody gets the same, then there is no incentive, no motivation, no innovation. Nobody wants to get up and do anything. Nobody's going to want to work harder and longer than the guy who's getting the same amount as them. Why bother? So you can disagree with me if you wish. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. Just understand that I'm not against you having a better life. In fact, the opposite is true. I want you to have a better life, but in a way that you're not dependent on others and are self-sufficient and know what to do. And if you want to know where to start, The Laws of Riches is a great place to begin. The Laws of Riches is the series that's going to take you from being broke to not having to worry about money. It's called The Laws of Riches because becoming rich is an exact science. There's a formula to it. Simply put, rich people think and do things differently than poor people.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
And so it stands to reason that if you start thinking and doing as they do, then you'll also start getting similar results. We're going to be going over investing, having multiple sources of income instead of just having a job, assets and liabilities, leveraging debt, avoiding inflation. The law of compensation, how much you earn is going to be determined by this formula. Passive income, how to earn money while you sleep, and much, much more. You'll be getting a lesson per week for an entire year when you sign up. You can get The Laws of Riches and other Mind and Magic programs over at mindandmagic.com today.
Pleased to meet you, and I hope you guess my name.
I want to thank you all for joining me and for your continuing support. I'll see you soon. Take care.